episode of Putting the B in BPD with me, your host, B. Today we will be discussing unstable relationships. Disclaimer, everything I talk about in my videos is research I have done and my own experiences with BPD. We just need to get the info out there, break the stigma, and let people know more about BPD. It's not necessarily this monstrous disorder that is explained in the media. I have been getting a lot of comments saying, hey, I really identify with fear of abandonment or unstable sense of self, but I don't have BPD. What's going on? These kinds of traits are not necessarily exclusive to people with BPD. If you do suffer from some form of mental illness, you can also have BPD traits. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have the full spectrum of BPD, but if you still find these videos helpful, make sure that you share them and just explain to people that you don't have BPD, but you do experience this specific trait. Let's just jump on in. Unstable relationships. It is probably the biggest reason people with BPD get so
demonized.
There are a lot of reasons people with BPD have unstable relationships, but the biggest one is probably because A, they don't know they have BPD, or B, their BPD is not managed. This is because people with BPD tend to have something called dichotomous thinking. That in layman's terms is black and white thinking. So something is either very good or very bad. There is no in between, there is no gray area. This makes for a difficult relationship because we all know that a lot of times compromise sits in the gray area, not in the good or the bad. Another reason why people with BPD tend to have very unstable relationships is something called idolization and devaluation. Same thing with the black and white thinking. Once a person with BPD finds someone that they're interested in, and this can be in a romantic or platonic, or even like a work relationship, a family relationship, if they find someone that they like, they tend to start the relationship out by placing that person on a massive pedestal. They idolize that person. That person is everything to them, and it is commonly referred to as their favorite person. Of course, humans are not infallible. Humans are actually like horrible, horrible people, and that's okay. What makes this hard in a BPD relationship, at the first sign that that person is not perfect, it's not this amazing statue put on this pedestal, the person with BPD will then go from idolizing to devaluing that person. It goes from you're an amazing person to, oh my God, why do I even like you? And that's frustrating for everyone involved. That would be very difficult and very frustrating to be with the person with BPD. However, I do need to constantly mention, as frustrating as it is for you, I can assure you that it is also, if not more, frustrating for the person dealing with it. For one thing, if you don't even know you have BPD and you go through this, how scary would that be for a person? You are in a relationship with this person who's in your house, you're living together, and they suddenly go from, I love this person so much, to, why am I even here? What is this person doing in my house? I can tell you that that's actually very confusing and very terrifying. This kind of thing is also referred to as splitting. I've had some very, very turbulent relationships in my life, especially before I realized. I can tell you that it was quite scary to have to deal with these emotions without being able to understand what was going through my own head. Combine this then with other traits such as chronic feelings of emptiness or worthlessness, anger or explosive emotions, that breeds a very toxic relationship. That makes people with BPD very vulnerable to toxic relationships, to getting in relationships with very highly manipulative people. When that happens, it can stem into people with BPD feeling very worthless, feeling very unloved, and then this other person keeping them in that very toxic relationship cycle. Which is why these videos are so important. If you do feel these intense feelings, you can then take a step back and go, oh, is this relationship not good? Or do I need to work on myself? I personally still struggle with these feelings, and this is something that I need to make very, very clear to people who have BPD and people who don't have BPD. BPD cannot be cured it can only be managed. What this means is, even me with years behind her of dealing with this, I still get these emotions. I just don't act on them. So with my friends, my family, my relationships, I still get these intense feelings of, wow, who is this person? I don't even care about them. I can now take a step back and realize this is my brain messing with me. It's not how I actually feel. I don't need to act on this emotion. So I can then remove myself from the situation, whether it be taking myself into my room when I feel like this about my housemate, or going for a walk outside when I feel like this about my partner, and then take that time to recoup and give my brain a second to then go, oh, actually, that was just me splitting. If you are in a relationship with someone with BPD, the biggest and most useful thing is communication. And obviously that is massive in every relationship, but so much more with people with BPD. If there is an open line of communication in your relationship, this person would feel more comfortable with expressing this kind of vulnerable feeling that they feel on a very constant basis. And if they are able to express these feelings without feeling judged, without having the person keep it over them. For instance, if you are in a relationship with someone with BPD, try not to, when you are having a disagreement, go,
is this your BPD talking or is this normal?
That is frustrating. We constantly feel like that. We constantly think, oh, am I allowed to have this reaction or is this my BPD? If there is an open line of communication, you can then talk it out or suss it out, or if they remove themselves from the situation, you can go, maybe I'll give them some space, they will come back. The positive side of this is you find that being in a relationship with someone with BPD is very often super exciting, super intense, super passionate, and hey, that could be something that you are into. Not everyone has a desire to be in a very calm, white picket fence, 2 kids and a dog relationship. That is just something that you're going to have to suss out with yourself and your partner who has BPD. Cool. So that is it for today's episode. I am so happy and excited to have these open lines of communication with you guys. I've been getting so many comments through Reddit and YouTube and on my personal socials, and I read all of them. And just to remind you that if you are going with these videos and it's going to put you onto the next video, not all of these videos are as positively spun as mine are, because mine is from a personal experience. A lot of these BPD videos on YouTube especially are from psychologists and psychiatrists giving very clinical information. I'm not saying don't watch these videos, but do watch it with an open mind, and then maybe come back to my videos and hear some personal experiences. Okay? Love that for me. If you're new here, this is your first time, hi, hello, press the subscribe button, and if you're coming back, press the like button if you keep wanting to see this face on your screen. That's everything. I'm gonna leave you with that, and I will see you all next week.